Hello, beautiful beings, and welcome to the reset. We are here today to soothe. We're going to be soothing the body, the nervous system, and the mind. We're going to connect to the breath, do some exercises for the vagus nerve, some acupressure, some self-massage along the way. We're going to show love to the jaw, to the neck, to the shoulders today. So take a moment to get as comfortable as possible. If you're seated on the ground, I suggest being up on a pillow to support the hips. Do you need water? Do you need tea? Your comfort is the most important. So if you ever need to readjust throughout the session, give yourself permission to do that. Your practice, move at your own pace, skip anything that doesn't feel good in your body. And through this, we're looking for no pain, no strain. So if we're stretching or putting some pressure somewhere, we can always work our way up. Start gently. And let's get into it. Let's start with one exercise for the vagus nerve. We're just going to take our index finger pad and find this top groove of the ear. You're going to come to the very front of that groove and begin to make some very gentle little circles. You can just begin to check in on the breath and see how it's flowing. And here we're more thinking of moving the skin around rather than pushing too hard. We're just sending a little bit of sensory input to the nerve, letting the body know we are safe. Make those gentle circles in the opposite direction. We're going to get deeper into the vagus nerve throughout the practice and later on, but just saying hello here. Whenever you're ready, moving on to the other side, pad of the index finger comes to this top groove of the ear, move to the front of that groove, and very gentle little circles. Invitation to freestyle throughout this whole practice. Nobody knows your body better than you, so if you want to adjust or do something differently, please do that the whole way. Circles in the opposite direction. See if you could make them even a little bit more gentle. Releasing, hands down. This is where the magic happens with these vagus nerve exercises, is this moment afterwards. So shutting down the eyes if that feels safe, and just giving your body a moment to relax and receive, integrate that message. Shout out to the early birds here with us in this live session. Welcome in. All right, let's invite in our physiological sigh. Double inhale through the nose, slow controlled exhale out of the mouth. So double inhale through the nose, controlled exhale out of the mouth. Always moving at your own pace. Continue just like that. Double inhale, slow exhale. Two more. And coming back to the natural breath. We often start out with GV20, so let's do that today. First acupressure point of the day, very top of the crown of the head. You can push in with direct pressure, you can massage in little circles, or you can tap with your fingertips. A great place to calm the mind and slow down when we're full of busy thoughts. So again, just checking in with the breath, relaxing the jaw. Governing Vessel 20. On your next exhale, gently releasing. So let's invite in some audible sighs, some hums, some whatever noises show up on the exhales. We're going to take 3 deep breaths, inhaling the shoulders up towards the ears. On an exhale, exhale with a big audible sigh. Drop your shoulders, let it go. 2 more just like that. Inhaling up. Drop and release. 1 more. And then just a few circles with the shoulders up and back, opening up the heart space. And then let's get into our hands a little bit before we use them as tools throughout the practice. So exploding fists, thumbs on the outside can provide a little bit of resistance. Shooting your fingers out with as much energy as possible, 10 times at your own pace. Ready, set, go. And releasing the hands down. I noticed I was holding my breath while I did that. I'm not sure if I do that every time. Palm up. Hold your hand with your own hand. Extend the arm and then lift to shoulder level, a little bit of resistance from the hand that's holding, and bring your arm across the body, head to the opposite side, and breathe into wherever you feel that stretch. Maybe it's in the fingers, maybe it's the wrist, maybe it's the forearm. Think about sending your inhale into the stretch, and maybe a little bit more space shows up on the exhale. Bringing arm back, gently down, and switching sides. Palm up, hold your own hand, extend the arm, lifting to shoulder level, arm across the body, head to the opposite side, and breathe into that stretch. Whenever you're ready, coming back to center. Let's make fists with the hands and bring them almost touching, and just get into the wrists. So circles in one direction, just from the wrists, not the arms, just the wrists. Audible sighs are welcome on the exhale. Circles in the other direction. Relaxing the hands down. Let's interlace the fingers and just stretch out the hands. You can also cave the spine a little bit here, breathing into the upper back body. Maybe a gentle tilt side to side. And then coming back, and whichever index finger is closest, you're going to switch. And again, you're going to stretch out, and maybe that feels very strange and new. Again, invitation to cave the spine a little bit, and a gentle tilt. Reach up to a big morning stretch. Lots of love for the wrists this morning. Cactus shape the arms, elbows back, open up the heart space, wake up the muscles of your upper back. Exhale and release. Okay, cranial nerve release. You're going to get a nice hold of your earlobe. You are going to pull down and out and a little bit up like the shape of a J, freeing up this path many cranial nerves travel. Relax the jaw. Keep the heart space open. If you have a good grip, stay there. If you slip off a little bit, coming back, pulling down on the earlobe, out and a little bit up. And whenever you're ready, moving to the other side, grab your earlobe, pull down and out and a little bit up. Maybe thinking of all these messages, sensory and motor, traveling through these nerves from the brain to and from the body. And gently releasing. So just making sure you're in your most comfortable position. If you are seated on the ground, just thinking of like burrowing yourself into the earth, really feeling that connection to the earth beneath you. And then beginning to observe the breath, just noticing, not trying to change anything. Becoming more familiar of the waves of breath. How each breath is different than the one before. Maybe it feels soothing to deepen your next inhale and slow down your exhale. Very simple tool. An exhale that is longer than your inhale will instantly send some love to your nervous system. Let's build our way up here to the 3-part yogic breath. So we're going to start with the hands on the belly. We're going to take 2 deep breaths directly into the belly, feeling it expand on the inhale and deflate on the exhale. Again, breathing directly into the belly, feeling it expand. And deflate. And then bringing the hands to the ribs, 2 breaths, breathing directly into the ribs, feeling them expand. And deflate. Really connecting to the diaphragm as we breathe into the ribs. Again, deep breath, the ribs expand. And deflate. And then bringing the hands to the heart space. 2 breaths into the lungs, feeling the chest rise on the inhale. Feeling the chest fall. Once again, breathing directly into the lungs, feeling the chest rise. And then keeping one hand over the heart space, bringing one hand to the belly, we're going to connect all 3 together in the 3-part yogic breath. So deep breath, first into the belly, then feeling the ribs expand, finally the chest rise, and then everything deflates on the exhale, chest, ribs, belly. 2 more like that at your own pace. Belly, ribs, chest, everything deflates. And once more. Relaxing the hands down, and again, just observing the breath. Okay, let's shift our awareness from the breath into the physical body, and let's just really try to connect to all the different layers of our system. So I invite you to bring your awareness to your very center, your hara, just behind your belly button. Tap into that area of the body. And then bring your awareness to your visceral body, starting to think of all the organs, all of the work that they do to keep us healthy, working in connection with one another. And then bringing your awareness into your skeletal body, thinking of all the many bones providing structure, helping us move. Those bones are alive. And then bringing your awareness to your muscular body, thinking of all the muscles, big and small, giving you power, helping you move. And then bringing your awareness to your beautiful, complex nervous system of sensory and motor nerves, looking out for us, keeping us safe. And bringing the awareness to the fluid body and seeing if you can tap into that intricate ocean within you. So many different kinds of fluid: blood, lymphatic fluid, cerebral spinal fluid. And then bringing your attention to your skin, enveloping all of these different systems. And then tapping into the electromagnetic field that goes beyond your physical body. And then aiming to sense each of these systems and places all together at the same time. And then let's bring our awareness up into the mind and just check out, how is my mind feeling today? If you were going to describe your mind as you would the weather, how is the weather in your mind today? No judgment, just observing. So on days when our minds are feeling very busy and perhaps returning to a particular narrative over and over that's not healthy, not helpful, the breath can be a really great tool to bring us into the present moment and into the body. So let's use one of my favorites, the right here, right now technique. You're going to take your hands and on each inhale, you're going to touch every finger to your thumb while you think to yourself, right here, right now. On the exhale, same thing, thinking to yourself, right here, right now. Moving at your own pace, mind with the mantra, with the breath, right here, right now. If other thoughts, excuse me, if other thoughts show up, gently release them and return right here, right now. On your next exhale, gently releasing, Relaxing the arms down, shutting down the eyes if they're not shut already, and if that feels safe. And bringing your awareness to your eyebrows and forehead, inviting that area to relax and let go of any tension. And then inviting that sense of relaxation to the area around the eyes, to the cheeks, to the area around the mouth, and to the entire face, including the jaw, letting the jaw hang a little bit in the mouth, giving a little bit of space between the upper and lower teeth. The jaw is a place many of us carry tension or experience pain, and sometimes that translates into other places in the body. So as always, let's show our jaws some love. So open the mouth wide and stretch the jaw from side to side. And then you're going to squish your face as though you've just taken a bite out of a lemon. And then open and stretch into the jaw, stretch into the muscles of the face, wake everything up. Really good thing to do a couple times a day, or at least once a day. And we're going to take our knuckle in front of the ear and drag down just above the mandible, coming across the masseter, thinking of any tension hanging out here, melting away. You could also try with the thumb. It can sometimes make it a little bit more intense, but again, pushing down just above the mandible, inviting out any tension. Other side, whenever you're ready. Knuckle in front of the ear, dragging down just above the mandible. Pardon my throat tickles. I was sick last week, so I guess I'm still recovering a little bit. Maybe trying with the thumb, maybe the knuckle feels perfect for you and you're staying with that. And then we're going to bring our thumbs to the top of the jaw, feeling into these grooves. You're going to hold in with a bit of pressure and keep that pressure as you open the mouth wide. Slow and steady as you open and close. It could be very tender, so start gently and work your way up. Keeping pressure in those grooves with the thumb, slow and steady as you open and close. You can move the thumbs a little bit, see if the sensations change. Gently release, taking your finger pads and massaging over that groove. And then some loving circles over the temples. Checking in with the breath. And then massaging the vertical part of the jaw, this back part of the jaw. So all along the bone, maybe getting close to the ear, seeing what shows up. And then we're going to stay with this vertical part of the jaw. Sometimes jaw pain is muscular, sometimes it's nerve related, sometimes it has to do with the joint. So we're going to work on some mobilization for the jaw. You're going to take both your thumbs to that vertical part of the jaw. You're going to push forward with one thumb and have the jaw move to the opposite side. and then push forward with the other thumb, jaw moves to the other side. So what we want here is a nice fluid range of mobility. And if it feels sticky and it's not fluid, then keep coming back to it every couple days. So thumbs to the vertical part of the back of the jaw. Push forward with one thumb, jaw to the opposite side. Push forward with the other thumb, jaw to the other side. Keep it going back and forth. And then maybe one more little massage on that area. All right, let's make our way down into the neck, starting with our SCM. If you're unsure where to locate it, bone behind the ear is your mastoid process, and that should lead you directly into the SCM. So let's start by massaging down either side. And then you're going to come just above the clavicle, or the lower part of the neck, where you can start to feel your SCM. And if you are able to, not everybody can, you're going to grab the muscle, pull out, and then back and forth. I actually usually use both hands. So getting a hold of your SCM, pulling away from the neck, mobilizing back and forth a little bit, and then working your way up. If you can't get a good hold, just keep massaging. You can also just do a gentle mobilization side to side. But if you're able to, grabbing the muscle, pulling away from the neck, back and forth a couple times and working your way up. Can often be a little extra tender at the top. Ooh, sure is for me. And then massaging down once more and moving to the other side. Locating your sternocleidoid mastoid, massaging down. And then starting from the lower part of the neck, grabbing the muscle, pulling out, back and forth a couple times, making your way up, mobilizing. This side is very tender for me. Know your limits. And a couple more times massaging down. All right, let's use our PNF technique today. This can be a nice little party trick or just a tool for yourself. Proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. We're going to first experiment moving the head in a few different directions, and you're going to see if in a particular direction there's more tension and less range of motion that shows up. So check in with this central axis of the body, maybe open up the heart space a little bit more. And then we're going to start with the head straight, and we're just going to look side to side. And see if one direction tension shows up or you have less range of motion. And then coming to center, we're going to tilt side to side. I have a feeling this is my sticky side. Both of those are kind of sticky, but the other one. And then you can also go front to back, so chin to chest. And then raise the head. So if your tension and your limited mobility is when you turn this way, you're going to take your hand and you're going to push equal pressure from the hand and the head as though you were twisting your head to the opposite way. It's really going to stay straight, but you're pushing with enough pressure as though you were twisting this way. If your tension shows up this way, you're going to take your hand and push with equal pressure as though you were tilting this way. If it's front, back, and the opposite. So see where you have tension showing up. And then you're going to take your hand and for 10 seconds, equal pressure from the hand and the head, breathing in here, really waking up those muscles. Relax the jaw. couple more deep breaths here. And then when you release, do so very slowly, like you're letting go a few grams at a time. We're going to take a nice deep breath before we move. And then move into that direction that there was tension or less motion and see if you have a bit more space. For me, I feel like I have a lot more space. So someday, if it's difficult for you to move in a particular direction, push the opposite direction, give it a couple seconds, and then try again. Proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. Let's get a little bit of love into our upper trap. So, invitation to freestyle here. Just massaging all over your upper trap. You can dig in, you can play the piano, you can squeeze, you can involve the head a bit as you do this. Just making our way down from our SCM into our upper trap. Ooh, find those little tender zones and hang out there for a bit. And then let's do our other cranial nerve release. So finger pads pulling down into the upper trap. Keep that pressure down and then push outwards. And then your other hand, the palm comes to your jaw. You twist to the opposite side as you are pushing down and out with the hand in your upper trapezius. Try to not tense up here. Just allow the stretch to evolve. Whenever you're ready, gently releasing, maybe a last little massage there, and then moving on to the other side, showing some love to the upper trapezius, seeing what happens if you involve the head. Welcoming some audible exhales. And then whenever you're ready, finger pads pulling down into your upper trapezius. Keep that pressure down as you then push out. Palm of the hand to the jaw and twist to the opposite side. Very gently release. Okay, let's keep making our way down. Let's show a little bit of love to the shoulders. So just coming below the clavicle and beginning to massage outwards. You can push out, you can massage in little circles. Here we're coming across the lung 1 and 2 meridian points. And this is just a good zone to work on if you have a lot of worry or a lot of fear showing up. You're just honoring it and inviting it to flush out of the body. So just massaging under the clavicle from the inside to the outside, inviting any worry and fear to release. And we're going to stay here before moving on to the other side and show a little bit of love to the pec major. So coming to the middle of the clavicle, a few finger widths below, just massaging in. Maybe there's a bit of a tender zone that shows up, just showing a little bit of love to this space. And then you're going to get a good hold of your pec major. So kind of like the side of the chest and fingers going into the armpit. You can lift up the arm, get a good hold here, and then relax the arm down. Keep that nice hold of that big, beautiful muscle. And then you're going to take your arm and rotate outwards. Oh, very spicy for me today. I really needed this. Breathe in. Don't tense up your shoulders. Don't tense up your jaw. Just breathe in. And coming back, releasing, maybe one more little massage and coming to the other side. So starting by massaging under the clavicle, making your way out, saying hello to the lung meridian, saying hello to any worry or fear, and welcoming it to leave. And then again, kind of middle of the clavicle, just underneath, massaging in, maybe noticing if there's a little bit of a tender zone that wants some attention. And then again, getting a nice grip of your pec major. So chest, fingers kind of going into the armpit. You can lift the arm, get a good hold there. Tight hold, relax the arm down. Let it settle for a minute, for a few seconds, and then taking the arm and rotating outwards. Ooh, breathing in there, you really notice a difference, or at least I do. Not always tense in this zone, but today I sure am. I'm just called to involve the head a bit. You can try it out if you wish. And gently releasing. All right, let's get into our arms a little bit. We're gonna do this nice release for muscles in the forearm. So I like to support the arm on my knees. You find whatever position works that you can relax this hand, this arm, forearm, and keep the hand relaxed. Then you're going to take your thumb below the elbow crease, not super important, but just to see where we're located. So thumb under the elbow crease and the finger pads reach over the forearm. Relax the arm down and you're going to squeeze and kind of let these muscles shake through. So getting a good grip of them and kind of letting them wiggle through your fingertips. We're sort of staying in this zone. And if you come across a trigger point here, somewhere that's extra tender, you can hold and then wake up your hand a little bit and see how that changes the sensation. I hadn't done this in a while, so I thought it might be pretty intense, but not so bad today. Squeezing, wiggling through, waking up the hand if it calls for it. So here we were using our finger pads. Next, you're going to take kind of more flat fingers and think of massaging down from elbow towards the wrist. And then just a little bit of love to the hand, massaging into the palm of the hand. And starting with the thumb, each finger, great time to check in if you can relax your jaw a little bit more. And then relax both arms and just notice arm to arm. We wouldn't want the other arm to be left out. So again, supporting your forearm, thumb just in front of the elbow crease, finger pads reaching over the forearm, and grabbing this group of muscles, squeezing and letting them wiggle through. there's a trigger point, stay there, wake up the hand a little bit. And then again with flat fingers, massaging, elbow making your way down closer to the wrist. And some love for the hand, massaging into the palm. Starting with the thumb, massaging each finger. Okay, let's send even more love to our vagus nerve today. We've said hi to it a little bit, but first we're going to stimulate it with the breath and then work directly and indirectly on the vagal branch. So let's welcome in our VU breath here. This is where we're going to inhale through the nose and exhale as though you're emulating the sound of a foghorn with a VU, always moving at your own pace. A few rounds of VU breath. Let's go. Inhale through the nose. VU on the exhale. VU. Keep going. VU. Once more. VU. Back to the natural breath. All right, we're going to take our index finger behind the ear, other three fingers in front, and you're just going to begin to very loosely rub up and down. And then you're going to hold with some pressure and keep that pressure as you move up and down. Relax the jaw, relax the shoulders. And then with that same pressure, you're going to make circles in one direction. Very normal if you yawn. And circles in the other direction. And whenever you're ready, moving on to the other side. Index finger behind the ear, other three fingers in front. Begin to just very loosely rub up and down. And then hold with some pressure and keep that pressure as you move up and down. And then with that same pressure, circles in one direction. Circles in the other direction. Maybe another yawn. Relax the arms down, shut down the eyes if that feels good, and just relax and receive. Noticing any shifting, any sensations. All right, we're going to take our little pincher fingers, our thumb and index, and we're going to come to the earlobe and just begin to massage and knead in little circles all the way up the outer edge of the ear. So just massaging, you can stretch a bit as well. And once you reach the very top, you're going to think of rolling the edge of the ear outwards as you make your way back down. Earlobe tug for good luck, of course, and moving to the other side. Pinch your fingers, starting at the earlobe, massaging, stretching, kneading, all the way up. And once you reach the very top, again, thinking of rolling the edge of the ear outwards, making your way back down. again, relax, receive. Okay, let's move on to a bit more acupressure. Let's come to UB2, urinary bladder 2. This is a really nice point if you've got particular kinds of headaches going on. So you are going to come to this point where the ridge of the nose meets the bridge of the eyebrows, really where those two meet. I like to use my thumbs. You could use your index fingers. You can play around. I like to push in here with my thumbs. So really between the bridge of the nose and the ridge of the eyebrows, pushing in. It could be quite tender. We'll have a headache focused session soon so that you always have that recording and those tools. But just breathing in here, try not to crunch up the shoulders, relax the jaw, stay connected to the breath. As always, direct pressure with acupressure or little circles. On your next exhale, gently release. Let's come to large intestine 20. You're going to take your index finger pads just beside the nose, kind of thinking of pushing at the ends of the cheekbones. So beside the nose, kind of pushing into the cheekbones. Large intestine 20, breathing in here, great for any congestion and sinus issues. Again, direct pressure or little circles. Two more deep breaths here. On your next exhale, gently release, maybe massaging over, maybe taking your index knuckle and massaging over the forehead, up the jaw. And then we're going to make our way down to our feet. So one more acupressure point here. You are going to come to the middle of your ankle bone and your heel. So if you're moving on a diagonal between the two is where we're headed. Heel, ankle bone, meeting between the two, kidney 4, and pushing in here. Ooh, very spicy for me today. So in traditional Chinese medicine, the kidneys are the place related to fear, and the positive emotions of the kidneys are stillness and alertness. But this particular point on the kidney meridian, kidney 4, is a hip flexor and psoas release. So if you've got some tension here, this is a nice place to come to. We'll get more movement coming up in sessions in the future. We will definitely be getting into our psoas and hip flexors. So pushing in, direct pressure or little circles. If you need some kind of support under your knee, put a cushion underneath there. Breathe in, and I'm checking in on my posture. You check in on yours too. It's so easy to just crunch down on ourselves in some of these shapes, but give yourself some stability and then lean in with your body weight. Kidney. Releasing whenever you feel ready, maybe a little massage over that zone and coming to the other side. So again, didn't hit my mic. Okay. Ankle, heel, meeting in the center as if you're moving on a diagonal and pushing in here. Kidney 4. Oh my goodness. Know your limits. Breathe into the tension that shows up. It's always so interesting to me when one side is completely different than the other. Couple more deep breaths here. I could stay here much longer, but let's keep it going. Maybe a little massage over that area. And then we're going to come to our feet. So massaging down the arches again. Move with your body weight, move with your breath. See what shows up. You can also walk with each thumb side to side. And then coming to whichever foot is calling first, massaging down each toe, saying hello to the 5 different meridians that start from our toes, massaging across the base of each toe, massaging into the sole of the foot and the ball of the foot and the heel. Keep checking in on your posture. And then invitation to freestyle or follow. I like to twist. I like to hold fixed points and twist in that different way. Fixed point twist. And let's clamp down on the foot and squeeze towards the toes. Hold the foot, grab the toes, circles in one direction and the other direction. Hold around the ankle, big circles with the entire foot. Other direction. Point the toes, stretch the top of the foot. Flex, fist with the other hand, knocking all over. And coming to the other side. Massaging down each toe. Massaging across the base of each toe. Getting into the sole and the ball of the foot and the heel. A really good sleep tool is to give yourself a little foot massage before bed. So if you sometimes have trouble falling asleep, before you tuck in, get into your feet a bit. All right, twisting, experimenting, seeing what your foot needs. And then clamping down, squeezing towards the toes. Holding the foot, grabbing the toes. Circles in one direction and the other direction. Holding around the ankle, big circles with the entire foot. Other direction. Point the toes, stretch the top of the foot. Flex, fist with the opposite hand. And knocking all over. A little bit of love to our calves. Again, you can freestyle or follow. I like to squeeze and roll outwards. In massage, we are always, always, always staying off the bone. So here the most pressure is with my thumbs in the calf muscle there. Rolling outwards. I like to get really close to the bone, just creating some space, getting into the fascia. So off the bone, but close to it can be very nice. And then grabbing the calf, giving it a wiggle, and coming to the other side, maybe squeezing, rolling outwards. Getting close to the bone. A little calf wiggle. And then fists with both hands, knocking all the way up the inside and the outside of the legs. Get that circulation flowing, get that chi flowing. Especially for our early birds in this live session. And once again, coming back to your most comfortable position. Place one hand on the belly, one hand over the heart. Just notice what you feel. And as you sit here, I invite you to express to yourself something you are feeling grateful for in this moment, whatever shows up for you. I am so grateful for you all. Thank you for resetting with me. Hope to sit with you again very soon. So much love.